It's time for week 2 of our weekly podcast show with Joe Roberts. Good morning, Joe. How we doing?
Hey, Rob, great to see you. Great to see you. Here we go in December.
Yep, it's getting close to the holidays and getting cooler out, and it's time to get rolling. Week 2. So let's jump right in and start boys basketball. 1-1 on the season so far, but 2 good showings at Moeller to open the season, and then a nice GMC road victory against East. So let's talk a little bit about boys basketball.
Yeah, we came right out of the gate, ready to go. Moeller East. What a great way to kick the season off and get things going. Really difficult, as you full well know, and most people in Southwest Ohio that are familiar with Division I basketball or Moeller High School. Really, really tough environment to go into. The GCL gyms, I think they tend to favor the GCL. But they were designed that way.
Yep.
So just tight, small atmosphere, really intimate and quaint, and they get their fans a rocking and rolling. Their student section was fantastic, and we walked in last Tuesday, and we brought a tremendous crowd. I really do want to applaud our students that attended the game and were there cheering for our Vikings, because they were fantastic right behind our bench, brought an incredible atmosphere for us. And gave us a lot of positive encouragement. We were very rusty. However, there's a lot of good that can come out of what we did. And then Coach Wyatt and his staff took that with the team and started on Wednesday and got right after it and got ready to head over to East to open up GMC play. And, East is never easy. And
Right.
Hats off to Clint and his staff over there for what they're doing. They had little dancers in for the holidays, and it was Hawaiian night for them, and it was a packed house over there. And Coach kind of got back to the basics a little bit. We really pressured a lot on defense and created some good pressure that resulted in some quick baskets for us, which I believe that's what we need to do. And then we made some shots at the end that really helped out. And if we would have shot a little bit better from the line, I think the score would have been different than what it was. But be that as it may, they got down and guarded and got ready and took care of business. And it was great to start the season 1-0 in the conference. And here we go this week with Coleraine and Hamilton. And then we'll head up to the Coach Q Classic on Saturday in Lima. So busy boys basketball.
Well, isn't it nice that this early in the season that you've got some great stuff to work on and practice, and and by the time we get to the beginning of Feb, that cake will be ready to come out of the oven and ready to go for tournament time.
Yeah, and this week and again I'll probably hit on again next week. These next 2 weeks are really difficult for the winter season because end of course exams begin on Friday. The grind and the anticipation of the winter break. Next week's schedule is so jumbled in terms of that exams for our student athletes, because they may only be here for one period of the day or part of the day, and trying to shuffle that around really does lean to a little bit of confusion and chaos for all of our student athletes. But with that being said, they're all looking forward to the break. I know our staff's looking forward to the break. And then it just really allows you to get some time in the gym and practice a little bit after that, during that break. And then, of course, Coach will travel, but it's going to be a great run toward January and February.
Yeah, exciting. All right, let's switch over to the girls. They're as expected, came out strong. They're 4-1. Went down to Tennessee for a tournament over the weekend, and looks like they went 1-1. And they're not missing a beat.
No, Coach Davis has them ready to go. And if I remember right, and I will stand corrected if I am, Coach Davis, please forgive me on this, but I believe they played the number 1 team in the state of Tennessee, reigning state champions. They scrapped and battled with them, but came up on the short end of the stick. But her taking that team down to Nashville and down to that area was really great. Her being a Vanderbilt alum really allowed our student athletes to get some great exposure. They got to go to Vandy, they got to tour the campus, they got to meet some of the team, they got to be around that element to a degree of just what it's like in that
Sure.
atmosphere. And then, of course, there's a lot to be said about playing teams that you're not going to see, and just getting those students into an environment that they're not used to, being on the road, being away from home a little bit. that's really good. It gives a nice little break. So Coach Davis and her staff have done a really great job, and now they're back, and we're going to gear it up this week. We'll head over to Coleraine on Wednesday, and then of course we've got that game circled for Saturday afternoon over at Mason. It's just as we relive that opportunity to go battle for the GMC championship and just keep this thing going. And then over the break again, and we'll talk about it later, but she'll have a little holiday tournament, a little holiday classic here where she's bringing some really good teams in. And so Lady Viking basketball is on pace to keep that track going.
One of those things, back from my playing and coaching days, those weekend trips are great for bonding for a new team. Just to spend time in the hotel, spend time on the road. It's just, to get that early in the season, boy, that's great for bonding and bringing the team together.
It is, Rob, that's a great point. It is good. I think back, wrestling does that quite a bit because you hit those long extended stays, if you will, because you've got those 2-day events or something like that. But it is good for our basketball teams to kind of go to a different place and see different environments. Coach Davis and Coach Wyatt both do a great job of that. I equate it back to that trip to Elyria for our football program. It was just a great opportunity for them to come together and just see a different part of the state. So a lot to look forward to as we move right through the winter.
Sounds great. Let's go and stay inside and let's go to the lanes. Let's talk bowling. And looks like we're knee deep in GMC play at the lanes.
Knee deep in GMC play. We opened up Friday night at Hamilton. The Lady Viking bowling team had a great win to start that GMC play. The boys came up short. Of course, when you talk about coming up short, it was 1,759 to 1,420. You try to add those scores up. It's not 7-0. It's about those pens. But Coach Wilson's doing a really, really good job, and Coach Madison Simons, she's been an assistant volleyball coach for us, and she's come on to the bowling program this year, and it's just been a really, really neat little mix for the boys and girls. He's got really good numbers, high on the senior side, so we're going to have to really rebuild that. But tomorrow night we've got Fairfield at home to open the home season, and that's going to be a tough one. Traditionally, the Hamiltons, the Fairfields, the Coleraines, they traditionally have a strong presence in bowling, and our team is ready for that, and they're prepared. But it's going to be nice to be at Gilmore, where the kids do have a little bit of a comfort level for them, and they're used to the pattern that's down right now. And we'll see what happens as we move into the rest of the winter.
Joe, how are the bowling shirts this year? Because I know last year Princeton had the best bowling shirts in the GMC because we broadcast a few, and man, they had the best ones last year.
Well, they're the same. I didn't make an addition this year. However, there is an independent individual design going on right now that the kids are doing that they're going to keep themselves, their own personal shirt. So I can only attest to that as a parent of two bowlers on our Viking bowling team. What's going on there. But, there is, Rob, you bring up a great point, and I think about bowling, and I think about what's going on in golf today.
Yes.
The wilder and crazier the shirt, the better,
Yeah, no question.
And I looked at that in cross country too. The more decked out you are, the better it is. The flamboyancy and the craziness, it really is great for the kids. But I know the girls were a little bit upset because they had to go with one of the shirts this year versus the other, and it was all a numbers game, and the girls wanted the other shirt, but they took this shirt, and so they don't get enough color palette to it. But we're going to be okay.
Yeah, the Princeton bowling shirt game is strong, so if it's the same as last year, they're strong walking into the lanes. Well, good. Let's go to the pool. Let's talk swimming and diving.
Coach Mikiabas is the water never sleeps.
Right.
The Princeton swimming pool never sleeps. And we had a heck of a run last week. We had a bunch of teams in, and he just keeps moving them through and trying to get them ready. We always talk about this. That tapering starts right now for them. And so they're looking to what is going to happen as you get into the meat of the season, which really does start right when we get back from the break. We'll have a good one this week. We've got MND here for the girls, and we'll have a league meet here tomorrow night. and just getting them ready. And I'm sorry, we have Little Miami here tomorrow night, and it's a 7-12 swim meet. So our middle school kids and our high school kids are all going to swim together. There'll probably be 400. Yeah, there'll probably be 400 swimmers in the water splashing around. So, if you're free, come on over. We got a lot going on. We got boys basketball tomorrow night and a 7-12 swim meet. So come on by and check it out. But I love the technicalities that Coach Mickey Albus does, and I love how he's an instructor and a tactician for that, and he knows that if you apply just a few of the techniques that he's trying to implement into you, your swim times are going to improve. And he really does study the sport. And so our kids have bought into that. And we're going to see that as we move into after the break, what it's going to transpire as we gear up for that GMC.
Yeah, I'm looking at that first week back from break. Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Oak Hills, the Princeton Invitational, and West Claremont. I mean, you're right into it. So you're right there, tapering and getting ready for first of the year.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, let's go to the mat. Let's talk wrestling.
Well, the wrestlers the Viking wrestling program has went up to Lakewood over the weekend, and they battled. We're seeing some great results and some great opportunity. We were up at Middletown for a duel to kind of get the GMC dual season started last Thursday.
Okay.
Had a lot of opportunity to get some kids on the mat.
Sure.
Middletown is a good wrestling program, and they brought some quality to what we're trying to do. Coach Powell has done a very nice job in that middle weight class, if you will.
Yes.
He's done a very good job of really fine-tuning there. And so our 106s and to about 138, somewhere in there, they're really, really a balanced group of kids. And so now it's where we are moving forward with those upper weights. And I saw a couple of the kids that hadn't been out coming off the football field, and they're there now. And are a couple of our heavies that are scrapping with one another in the wrestling room. And they know that wrestling is going to make them better, and it's going to help them in the long run. And it's really a nice thing to see. So we're looking forward to this week. I believe we head up to Barnesville at the end of the week.
Yeah, Barnesville Invitational, right?
Yeah, the Barnesville Invite, which is nothing short of difficult. Our JVs over the weekend, our numbers are great. We sent some JVs over to Lakota East, and they got some great time on the mat. And that's important for us because we've got to put those kids on the mat in order to keep them in wrestling. They've got to see other opponents. They've got to have opportunities to wrestle, not just practice in the wrestling room. And then I think we have a couple of girls only meets that we're going to coming up here next week and leading into the break and shortly after. Our girls numbers have really grown.
That's what you said last week.
I think we're about
That's
6
great.
or 8. Yeah. And so, girls wrestling is alive and well. And I think Coach Powell's going to really be able to put them in some situations. I think we're heading to the Ross Invite. I think we head up to Hamilton for a girls meet. And I believe we're out at Harrison maybe for a girls meet, which Harrison won the state girls championship. And so our girls are going to get some exposure to some high level wrestling, and that's going to be really good. I can't wait to get our wrestling team here so that our fans that don't get to get out to these invites and these other meets have a chance to see them.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff.
Rob, we're gonna recognize the Lincoln Heights state champion basketball team.
Okay.
We've Coach Wyant created a Lincoln Heights retro uniform for the kids to wear Friday night. We've been saving them. We've had them for about a year and a half and kind of held them back. But, remembering that state championship team, we've lost some of those players over the years. And so we want to still bring them in Friday night and recognize them and remember them, because while they were not part of Princeton High School at that time, Lincoln Heights was its own high school. They are Princeton.
Yeah.
They are a part of our family, and we want to support and recognize that. And we've invited the elementary students from Lincoln Heights Elementary to come to the game and cheer on our Vikings Friday night. And it's going to be a really, really great impacted envirbement. So,
Joe, will that celebration be before or at halftime? When will that be?
I think we're going to take it on before the tip of the varsity game.
Okay, so somewhere around 7:30. So if people are planning somewhere around there, get there before 7:30.
Yeah, 4:30, 6, 7:30 game times freshman JV varsity. So if you're here, I'd say if people are here by 7, you're in really good shape to catch the end of a JV, recognize our varsity or the Lincoln Heights night, and then let's tip it right off with the varsity game.
And that middle school is now part of Princeton City Schools, correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah, Lincoln Heights Elementary is a part of Princeton City Schools. It's all one. So we're all one school system, and that's why I think it's so important for us to remember our past, because regardless if they were their own high school at the time, they are Vikings through and through.
Right. Yeah, I think that's great, Joe. That'll be a lot of fun and probably bring back a lot of memories for a few folks that are able to attend that. That'll be a special time. So
yeah, absolutely.
Great stuff. Well, listen, have a great week. Best of luck to all your student athlete Vikings, and we'll touch base next week and get everybody up to speed with Vikings athletics.
Great. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate your time.
Okay. Have a good week.